Nottingham Forest are like London buses. Nothing comes around, and then suddenly you get two. Welcome to Grumpy Old Reds. Good morning, good evening, or good night, wherever in the world you are. Oh, shit. Well, I mean, oh, poo. Wherever in the world you are, hope you're doing well, and welcome to signings, or sighings, as some would say. Well, how you boys doing? How you guys in the chat doing? We're not going to talk about speculation today, ladies and gents. We're going to be talking about players who are going to be wearing similar Argentina kits to that of Dean's. Dean, looking very good in your messy top, mate. How's it fit? How's the triple X
down the front? So it is messy.
Yeah. The thing is, everyone said that those stripy lines make guys look like they got beer bellies. You didn't need those stripy lines, mate.
That's harsh. That's harsh.
I've been saving that one all day.
Harsh but true.
Saving it all day. Let me how are you, bud? Are you back from DC? Where are you now exactly? Just so the guys in the audience know, mate. Well, what's going on with you? Staying with us? Are you going?
Yeah, I flew back back end of last week. Just about managed to make it back home. Still up in the air at the moment. I've not heard anything since. I've been kind of kept under wraps. So as soon as I find out, you guys will be the first ones to know, I'm sure.
But you know, just not Sheffield United, mate. Come on, have some dignity, please.
Oh yeah,
please.
Anything but. It's way too fucking cold up there.
And last but not least, my brown brother from another mother. How you doing, Ez?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good, man. How are you guys? It's been I finally got something to talk about, something firm maybe. But yeah, it's been an exciting day.
It's been crazy. Good to see you all in the chat. I hope you're doing well. I can see a few of you asking, is Elanga confirmed? So let's start with the state of play, and then we'll get into all the players. Obviously, we released the video earlier, but keep wanting to call him Aina, man. Aina is confirmed. Free transfer. Here we go. All done, etc. That's fine. Elanga is deal done. Now, remember, when we say deal done means personal terms are agreed. He's happy. He's greenlit it. He's signed off. Forest and Man U have now agreed a fee. It's rumored to be around 15 million. We'll talk about if that's too much or not in a second. And his medical is scheduled to be booked. That's where the people are getting it wrong. It's scheduled to be booked. So he's not booked. Now, he is out in America with Manchester United on the preseason tour. He will be either flying back to the UK or Spain. I'm not sure which one it's going to be. And he will be undertaking his medical. So medical hasn't happened yet, but pretty much you can say subject to medical, it is, here we go, deal done. So it's deal done, not here we go. It's probably the correct terminology. Why did I slip an anal in there, man? Seriously, they've already begun, man. It comes to joke. Oh, God. It's my fault. It's my fault. It's my fault for slipping it in. And that sounds weird in itself. Anyway, all right, let's get on with this. Chat, who should we start with? Do you want to start with Elanga or I can't say it. I can't say it. Let's start with the one that's confirmed, right? Dino's done a video on him on the high press. I think you've done two, haven't you, Dino, on him?
I have.
Stop.
Very
People are going to call me negative and sour and all this, and you take the mick out of our players. No, it didn't come from me. But yeah, I think Dino, you're probably the best one to kick us off on. What's his name? What's his name again? Aina.
I don't know. Aina. I said Aina. Aina can't be
Aina, don't dream.
Oh God, it's going to go on all night. Is it worth talking about it?
Yes. I'll tell you why. One, here's the things I want to know. Should I just end the stream? Seriously, shall I end the stream? The reason why is we need to know a couple of things about him. One, who is he?
Yeah.
On the first team.
Who is he?
That's what we got.
You froze then, buddy.
Let's say that again. You froze.
You caught my camera disease. One, who is he?
Yeah.
He's a guy born in London, came through Chelsea's academy. Spent time at Hull and Fulham on loan. Right. He's a right wing back, but can play left side, including left midfield. like we needed the right back. Skillful, fast, free agent from Torino. Who knows?
Wait, just stop, right? Can you just like try and sell him to us a bit, mate? This is all. Oh, he's fast. He's left-footed.
No, he's 20. He's 26. So he's in his prime.
Some energy, man. We have been, and the chat. You will back me up. We've been deprived of this moment, right? Yes. And you are now in the spotlight, Dino. Right? This is our second summer signing. Right? We need to feel the hype, man. Right? On him. So
shall I do a Fabrizio?
In fact, let's do this properly.
Shall I do a Fabrizio?
Hype it up in your Argentina top.
Here we go. Aina is coming from Torino. Is a free transfer. He plays on the left. He's fucking brilliant. He'll be fucking amazing for Forest. Is that all right?
You go.
That's it. He's on the left. He's on the right side. He can play left side. I tell you what, he's banged in a goal from the halfway line as well.
He bangs it in, does he?
He bangs it in. The anal. I can't. That's it. When I was doing the videos, I just kept thinking that name, anal, all the time. So,
all right, can you stop being so anal? That's crazy.
Aina. I hope his name's Aina.
Should we call him Ola? Ola.
But the chat needs to know on the negative side that he's had 2 big injuries last season that kept him out for 15 games. So
great. Just what the chat want to hear, man. Just as you hype him up, you slap him back down, man.
I can't do accents. You know I can't do accents. I can't do accents.
All right, talk to us about these injuries, man. Talk to us about these injuries.
I don't know about the injuries specifically, but it kept him out for 15 games. That's all I know. And when I saw that, I thought, that's all we need with our injury record. Because 15 games would be 45 games for Forest, wouldn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Up in my line, mate.
So I don't know. Listen, at the end of the day, he is more of a wing back than a defender. So that tells me that Cooper's favoured formation this season.
We're going to get into that in a minute. You're jumping.
No. Listen, that tells me that his favoured formation this season will be a very attacking wing back system with 3 at the back.
Okay. Again, you're jumping. We're coming into that. Jojo. Anal. Do you see him fitting in to start?
I see him fitting
in, Joe.
Yes, with Huang.
Huang
and Anal.
You're not worse than the chat, man. You really are, man. You really are.
From Lloyd.
Oh, God, no, you're right. Oh, no.
Don't worry, we've got Elanga to come. This guy might be good.
We'll get to it. But Jojo, seriously though, let's assume he's going to play at right back because he has played either side, left and right. Okay, where the fuck does he fit in?
I don't know. I kind of see this more akin to Julian Bianconi signing from last season, where we kind of signed him more as a slot player that can kind of fit in wherever he's going to be needed. I mean, like
slot.
A slot.
With a T. Player. Okay. I was going to say, what the hell's a slot player, man?
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he's played right mid, right wing back, left back, he's going to be one of those players, I think, yeah, with a more attacking setup of with the fullbacks. That's the only way I could think it's going to work.
You know what? It's a good job, Joe. We didn't sign Jizz Hornkamp last year. Can you remember?
Yeah, oh, God.
We'd have had to have 2 streams on that one.
We wouldn't even need to say anything. We'd just have the chat on the stream. Yeah. Sorry, Jojo. Carry on.
Yeah, no. I mean, like you and I think most people that's kind of tuning in, I didn't really know anything about him until we were suddenly linked with him, and then it seemed to be it just moved immediately. We've been linked with so many players, and now all of a sudden we kind of get a whiff of one, and then he's in through the door. Yeah.
We're sponsored by Pornhub, by the way, this season. With all those players that we've got. And then we're going back in for Jizz. Willie. We've got, I tell you what, I'm a bit worried about Forest now. We've got some real strange.
What's this got to do with anything, Keith? I just wanted to say. All All right. This is like lost all professionalism, and we haven't even started. Guys, there's like 29 likes and 200 of you in here. Hit that goddamn like button while we.
Smash that like button.
Oh no! Stop, Max. Anyway, we are getting back on track. Okay, so Joe, you were eloquently saying, about him slopping in. Where Biancone would be. Is this now overkill on the right-hand side? Or is this something that Cooper's looking at and thinking, I'm going to play him on the right, maybe move Nico Williams to the left, or maybe the one-armed legged man, Omar Richards, is actually fits and is going to be first choice at the left? Where you seeing this balance? Because I'm struggling a little here with all these right-backs. We feel right-back heavy at the moment.
Well, I think, the reason that I kind of allude to him being a slot player is because that kind of allows him to be able to play wherever he's going to be needed. If it means that he's got to play more on the left-hand side, because we've got a man with one leg and someone who probably has all the odds of where he's going to play, also playing at that left-back position. I just don't know who we're going to bring in there, but I see him playing more on the left-hand side. I feel that's why we've signed him. But then because of the injuries and the ways that we're always having to call on the next man up, having someone who's able to play on either side, further up the pitch or sitting further back is probably not a bad decision to make.
Okay. Esmondo, what are your thoughts on this riveting conversation? Oh, they're still at it, aren't they?
They are. You're not
Can you
going to stop
imagine
them.
Willie Cock and Anal, man? Oh my God.
I was going to say we were linked with Cock as well, weren't we? But I think what's clear is that since Lodi left, we've been left with a gaping hole in that left back position. So I'm wondering if that's, and if you look on FIFA, he's the left wing back. So I'm thinking that's for thinking that Cooper's gone with as well. So hopefully he'll fill that role. Yeah. So possibly that's more what thinking is in covering on that side, because we know Toffolo could be in a lot of trouble. We don't know how long before that happens. So we do need cover at left back. So I think that's the main aim for him. But he's an exciting young player. But like Dino said, he had a couple of injury spells, wasn't it? It wasn't just one injury that he was out for. It was a couple of injuries he had last season, which makes me think he's also going to slot right in with our lot as well, because we love keeping our physios busy behind the scenes. But end of the day, we do need cover in that left back position with Lodi not there, with Toffolo potentially going at some point, and with Omar Richards still not proving that he's got two legs. So that's what I think the thinking is behind that signing.
I'll drop a couple of videos at the end of this stream. One to the highlights of Aina, and one with a bit of stats against Sergio Aurier on there. But a lot of that is playing down the left. So I initially saw him as a left-sided player. I agree with the guys.
Wait, but you now see him as a right?
No, he's a right. You were telling me there's a right wing back earlier, and that's correct. If you look at his heat maps.
No. I said he played at Torino at right wing back, but he is molded as a left wing back to start with, but plays on. But
correct.
He's Nico Williams, man.
Correct.
Basically,
in reverse
with a left foot. With a left foot, though.
Yeah,
wait, is he left-footed?
He's right-footed, but he's strong on the left.
Yeah, he's 4-star weak foot. For those of you who know FIFA, yeah.
4-star.
I don't know where to go, because I'm not gonna lie, right? Filthy Forest TV says I ain't gonna lie, man. I was too busy cracking up while Ez was chatting, so I have no idea what he said, if it was good, stupid, or bad.
Usually stupid.
We could move on to Elanga. Sorry, Elanga.
No. All right. Let's move on to him, because then I really want to get serious and talk about the positions and that anal stuff that we need to cover up, right? So let's start with you, Ez. With Elanga, is he meh? Is he good? Is he crap? Are you excited? I guess question one. Are you excited? And chat, we're gonna do a quick poll on this. Do you want Elanga, yes or no? Go on, Ez. Thoughts on the Swedish sensation?
Yeah, excited. I'm not excited. But then I think he'll grow in excitement if I see him play. He's got his potential, isn't he? But he paid 50. The price tag is probably what I would question the most in this deal, because he's the right fit in terms of his age, the positions that he can play. I think he fits well, but I just think 15 million's a bit overkill on that one, because I'd rather have spent that extra 5 million perhaps getting on, maybe sealing a Dino deal, but we'll get onto that later as well. Another thing probably to be aware of, obviously he's a Nigerian international as well, and
No,
with the AFCON coming up, he is
Swedish, you bellend.
No, oh, sorry, yeah, he's not. Sorry, that's the thing. He's not. He's fine. He's fine for African Cup of Nations.
Are you sure? Are you sure? Because you still think the Philippines is in the West Indies, mate. Right? So I'm not surprised you've connected him to Nigeria, or maybe you think Sweden's in Africa.
Well, he
right?
is young. One bit I did get right. He's 21.
Oh, well done, mate. Well done. You can count. Yeah, well done.
There's a lot of potential there. I think we're paying for potential more than anything. But 15 million, that's the only doubt I'd have on that deal. But he's a decent looking player. He's strong on the ball. He runs well with the ball. He's got a few tricks and up his sleeve as well. So I think he's an exciting player from that point of view. Just I think the price tag, if we'd got him cheaper, I think I would have been a bit more excited about the deal. But he's a long term prospect, isn't he? So he's not one that's going to probably hit overnight. He's going to take a little while to settle in, I reckon.
Jojo, what are you saying about him? It's Man U, man. I'll say my opinion in a bit, but I don't know. What do you think of him? He's got talent, hasn't he?
I like it.
Is he the right one for us?
I like it. I think it's a good signing, personally. Especially if you're focusing him on the left wing, or maybe, probably more left wing. I think going into the season, we were kind of saying the only signs we have to make are either the ones that we know we have no one in that position, like a goalkeeper or really a left back. And then after that, we're kind of just looking at upgrades. And personally, I see Elanga as an upgrade on Dennis.
Statement.
I might be taking a bit of a hot take there, but I see it as an upgrade, and I think I feel he's got more traits in common with Brennan Johnson than Dennis did. I feel it's just going to easily allow us to open up more that left side, so we're not so dominant playing the ball through Johnson. We're trying to play wide with wingers. So I really like it as a signing. I think letting Dennis go back to the Championship, trying to use that as maybe as a bargaining chip through Leeds, if that link's still on or true, and then bringing him in, I think it's really good.
It's so logical. He pissed me off with his logic, man. I get that. I need to chuck my Man U biases or unbiased. What's the opposite to biases? Unbiased. He's out. Here's the real question, Dino. I'll save this one for you, okay? And chat, we will cover these topics. So we do here, right? He can play left and right wing. Again, it seems like every player we're looking at can go left and right. Predominantly, though, Rashford was playing left side for Man U when Elanga was in the team, and Elanga was playing on the right-hand side. But yes, traditionally, he does play on the left-hand side, an inverted winger, if you like. Let's get the conspiracy stuff out the way, because I've seen a few comments on it earlier. In chat, yes or no, what do you think? Is he brought in to replace Jono?
Not necessarily. I think I agree with Joe. I'm quite excited about him. I think if a good run in the team will do well. I think he's got more than Dennis, but I think he's been brought in down that left-hand side. He's going to be brought in down that left-hand side because that's where we're weak, both in defence and attack. So that's where I would see him play. But I think what you see this season is that Cooper's going to play with a smaller squad than he did last season, obviously, right?
Well, technically no, because it's still 25 man.
Well, if we don't make 5 more signings, we're probably going to be thin on the ground. I'm not talking about thin on the ground for the first 11. I'm talking about thin on the ground when the injuries kick in, which no doubt we'll get. So I think the fact that he's bringing in the 2 players he's brought in today can both play left and right, which is interesting. So just a bit of flexibility there. I agree. As you know, that's Man United tax, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I feel it's Man United tax, it's Premier League tax in general, in them being an attacking player who's actually got goals and assists in the Premier League. That's always going to hike the price up, isn't it? I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Let me ask you that. I'm going to ask the chat.
Left-sided person.
I'm going to ask the chat because I know these idiots won't know the answer. Does he count as a homegrown player? Because I think he's been at United since he was 12. So does that tick another obligation box for us? So in a way, he's ticking the under 21s, so he doesn't have to be registered in the 25. I think I'll wait for the the intelligent ones in the chat to confirm who count as a homegrown player.
You've been waiting a while.
Oh,
there he is. There he is.
Oh, he is homegrown. Perfect. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So that does have its benefits. But Ez, the question I really want to ask, right, is are we getting too much versatility in these players? Or should we be looking for someone who is a left winger, fully by trade and by everything, yeah? And someone who is fully a left back? Or is Cooper so worried about these injuries potentially happening that we may end up in a situation where we're getting a jack of all trades, master of none? If you see what I'm saying? Is that potentially going to be a problem with these guys? And then where does he slot them in? Will they keep bouncing around, turning into who was it? Phil Neville was always that utility player back in the day, wasn't he? No one ever knew where he played and got chucked around for England and for United. Is that a little bit of a worry? And what do you guys think in the chat? Would you rather see horses for courses or these jack of all trades, masters of none?
They say that lightning doesn't strike twice, but you can't. If we go anywhere, even get half the injuries we had last season going into next season, it's going to play a crucial part. So I think he has to think utility players as well. And these two obviously being able to play both sides is a massive advantage. He fits in for a lot of reasons, like we've already mentioned, the age, the profile. If he does count as in the homegrown section, then that's bang on what we're looking for in terms of like Moneyball signings as well. 15 million for me, the fee is still a little bit over, but you add on all the taxes that we've just mentioned, and you kind of like come to that fee anyway. I think in the long term, he could be a replacement for Jono. I'm not saying he is right now, but in the long term, that might be in the thinking. We've got to look at potential as well, and I don't know if we're going to touch on Jono today. We touch on him on every single video we do. But I'm sure he'll come up at some point. But there's a real possibility, even if Villa get the players that we're after, they've got enough money. They've got enough money in the bank. They've not gone crazy in the transfer windows in the last few years like some of the other clubs have around them. I think they've spent well. They've got a very good manager as well. But so I wouldn't rule him out of going over there, even if they do sign their key targets. He's one of them. But we've got to be looking long term, and I think he's the long term signing, obviously, because you're not gonna. We'll be interested to see what kind of length of contract we're talking about. But I'd be surprised if it isn't 3 or 4 years minimum that we offer him. So it's a long term investment. He's a player that's got a lot of potential, and we've got to have options. And I do agree with Lemmy saying that for me, he probably is ahead of Dennis at the moment. So Dennis, if we can get rid of him, this is the thing. This is a thing. I can't go off one game, but there wasn't many standouts in the Notts County friendly, but he was awful. He was really poor. But you can't write too much into the first game of pre-season either. But we have to be looking to upgrade the players, like Lemmy mentioned as well. Is if filling the key positions that we definitely need players for. And goalkeeper, I think we need 2 goalkeepers. So it's not just one goalkeeper we're looking for. We need 2. We need a left back, and everything else is looking for upgrades. And for me at the moment, I'd put him in the head of Dennis. So give him a chance, give him the opportunity, and hopefully Cooper does what everyone keeps saying about him. He brings on young players. Let's see it in action, because that's got to be behind the thinking of even the player wanting to come to Nottingham Forest, because I'm sure he did have other offers on the table. So do you think that played a part in his decision to come to Nottingham Forest? It's not just about what we want.
All I know is you got a Dennis agenda, mate. I mean, you should back all your players. That's what you should.
I'm back on my agenda.
You got. I mean,
Dennis, all our players.
Dennis was crap against Notts County, but honestly, so were about 3/4 of the players that went onto that pitch.
I did say that. I did say that.
I'm just saying for clarity. And look, here's where I'm thinking on Elanga. If I took my Man U hatred and parked it here, which I've never really been able to do, does he fit certain criteria for me? He's fast. I like fast players. He's quite chiseled as well. He's well built, quite strong. He can run and dribble with the ball. Where he is definitely lacking is in finishing. His finishing is shocking, man. But I'm not saying it's something that can't develop. He is still only 21, as we keep reiterating. So that's something that does need to develop. You can almost kind of see him as he's got similar traits to Morgan Gibbs-White, just out on a wing. Whereas, because I think Morgan Gibbs-White does a lot of good things, but his finishing still needs to improve as far as I'm concerned. Here's the other thing, right? I can't decide if Twist is happy or annoyed that he's sold. He's kind of playing his cards close to the chest. I spoke to him earlier, and he's like, yeah, you know, he has potential, and he just wouldn't say any more than that. And I'm like, yeah, but was he good for you? Yeah, he started off well. He got that goal against Atletico Madrid in the Champions League and what have you. I'm like, yeah, but recently. I was like, why didn't he play last season? Oh, he got a few games, but not too much. And I'm like, it's just he's talking weird about him. And that just makes me think, is he secretly wanting to keep him and doesn't want to say we got a good deal? Or is he secretly really happy that we've overpaid for him and he doesn't want to show it in front of me? I don't know. Let's have a quick seeing what the chat is saying. Chris says, Wolverine, I'm doing a Dino. Elanga is going to score a 35-yard screamer against Man United to win your support. Let me just say, right, firstly, one Dino keeps trying to downplay it to 30 yards. And thank you, Chris, for reminding him it was 35 yards, right? And he will have my support. As long as he's wearing our colors and not United colors, he will have my support. But it's like going out with a girl that's previously been with a mate of yours. You always think in the back of your mind, bit weird. Yeah, that's
but aren't we the ugly guy, Forest? Just
scrape yourself, mate. What, to Manchester United?
They're more successful than we are year on year.
No, they're not. They've never won the Champions League back to back. Just saying. I mean, if you want to open this argument, bear in mind I've had this argument with Twist for about 30 years.
I'm not talking about like going back 6,000 years. I'm talking about within the last 10, 15 years.
And all they've won is the Mickey Mouse Trophy last season. And we won the playoff final, which was worth more than the Mickey Mouse Trophy. Again, you're wasting your time here, mate.
I'm wasting my time with you because you've got this Manchester United agenda.
I just got factual United facts that I whip out. Anyway, I don't care what we think right now. Let's have a look at what the chat is saying. So, Martin's saying Jono's going to be sold using the money for Sangare. We'll come on to him in a minute. We want to talk about that. And then what else we got here? Forest and Magic is saying Elanga will be class. I hope so. Craig saying, can I say Elanga is a really good player? We ruined his progress, I think he means, by throwing him into a struggling team a couple of seasons back. So fresh start will do him good. I think that's a good point because what Manchester United do a lot is they'll chuck a kid in, he'll score a goal, they overhype him through the roof, and then expectations are up here, performances are down here, and then suddenly you end up with mediocrity. I mean, you know, we had Al-Qaeda, didn't we, from them? I remember when he was hyped up through the roof and his career kind of poo-pooed out, didn't it? Marky Boy is saying, is Elanga going to be on the bench a lot like at United? We will have to play a 4-2-3-1 if you want Big T, Jonna, MG Dub, Elanga starting. Can't see him starting if Cooper plays 5-2-1-2 or 5-3-2. Mark, it's like you read the script. This is exactly the point we're going to move on to now. Absolutely perfect. And we've got the voice of reason to talk us through it. Lemmy, how the hell do you fit these players in? Because if, as Mark says, Elanga's coming in, it smells of a back four. If, what's his name again? Anal comes in. He's a wing back. He's not a full back. Does he fit into a back four? How do you solve this Rubik's Cube Scarpa-esque puzzle?
Oh, it's really simple. All you have to do is... Mate, I don't have a clue. I don't have a clue. I mean, I would have thought you'd be almost... jumping off your seat at this point, Wolf, because the fact that we're signing a left winger is almost looking like we're going towards a four at the back with the 4-2-3-1. and that's what you've been
Yes.
crying out for ages.
Correct.
Whether it's more, again, like I was alluding to with Ola Aina, try and get him in more as a player, as a slot role, to be able to kind of fill in wherever the injuries are going to almost inevitably happen throughout the season. We don't know. If it is going towards a 4-2-3-1, then that kind of does then almost give a bit more credence to trying to look to getting in. Bloody hell! Remind me his name again.
Hungary.
Yeah. I feel that gives more credence to try and get that signing as more of a defensive-minded central midfielder to then try and play. I mean, playing him with Danilo in the midfield, it could be something that would work. But again, whether it's just something where we're trying to spot on weaknesses that we had last year, one of which was undoubtedly the fact that we had nothing up front when we were trying to play down the left-hand side. It was completely inconceivable to try and go down that way. We either had to play 5 at the back and then try and get it up through the middle, or play with wingers where we only really had one winger with Jono. So whether
how do you think? Sorry, carry on.
I just feel like he's possibly trying to open up more options by getting in another left winger, so that we then do have that. But is that then trying to lay the idea of we don't know what formation we want to play?
I agree with this one that Greg said here. That's what I think we'll play. I think he's setting up for 2 formations.
Agreed.
What's he say? Wait, put that back on. I think home matches will be 4-2-3-1 and away matches 5-3-2. Chat, what do you think? What do you think will set up? Do you think there's going to be this split formation, home and away and versus opposition? Or do you think, and this is a question I'm going to hit Dino with, this is what I'm worried about. Spurs play in a 3-4-3, yeah? So they got the 3 centre-backs, 2 in the middle, the left wing-back and the right wing-back. Then they've got 2 wingers and then the striker. Can you see Cooper shaping up to that one, just to throw a cat amongst the pigeons? Because we do all know that his preferred formation is some form of a back 3. To get it all fixed in, the only real shape that works is 3-4-3. But then we are soft in that middle. What do you think, Luke?
No, I think he must know that we were soft in the middle for a lot of last season. Certainly when we played a 2, we got run over, didn't we, in the middle? So I don't think he's going to sacrifice the middle. And to be honest, a lot of the teams now are doing this like box formation. You see it at Man City where they move Stones up, and he kind of joins the midfield, but he can get back. So he will join the midfield, even though he's a natural central defender, and create this square. So when people have got a 2 in midfield, they completely overrun them. When they've got a 3 in midfield, they still overrun them.
Yeah, but with all due respect to Cooper, he's not there yet, is he? To start doing the inverted fullbacks with the centre-back CDM thing. I mean, he's got to nail down what formation first before we start going all pep-like.
We need 11 players we need 22 players in the right position, don't we? We need a backup as well for every position, which we still haven't got, even though we'd had a plethora of players last year. So no, I don't think he's going to do that. I think it'll either be a wing back. I agree with the comment earlier. Wing backs away, and then maybe a little bit more progressive at home.
Do you see that as inconsistent? Because something that's important in football is having a consistent team. Now, if this team is jumping between a formation every other week, is that going to work? Or can we really nail it down? It's like, I'm not convinced there's going to be a double formation. That's what I'm saying here. But what are you thinking?
I think it's equally important that we sort that away form out. And if it means a different formation away from home, a different thinking away from home, and improves us, I think we've got to look at the options, because we were so poor away from home last season. It's unbelievable. I think we probably were the worst in the entire football league in terms of wins, points away from home. And and even if you can make slight tweaks on that and keep sustaining that home form, I think he might have to look at that option, and it's something that I think he's seriously looking at as well. We've proved that we can play with those 2 banks of 3, because that's what he was doing. Yeah, and the only way you can give up that 3 in midfield is if you have the quality and the player that we've linked, we're so keen on getting, and yourself and the chat called out early on, is we need a CDM. We need a proper CDM who's built for that role. Then you can have a more box-to-box player alongside him. For example, and we're not jumping onto him yet, but Sangare with Danilo can work because you've got the dynamism. You've got two players who can hold on to the ball, who can progress the ball. With players like that, you can get away with two in the middle. So you've got to give him options. But I think there's no reason why we can't have a formation for our home games and formation for our away games, because our away, something has to change away from home. And if it means a change of formation and a change of shape, then I'm all for something changing. It's got to be better than it has been last season. No doubt about it.
Jojo, there's been a lot of not negativity, but downheartedness this week. Especially, I've seen it in the comments. It was quite split when I did my rant video the other day, and someone like, "Whoa, man, shut the hell up, you whining bastard," and someone like, "I agree with you." Yeah. Do you feel that these two names here are the start or the end of the window? Because one's a free and one's 15 million. When you look at it in the greater scheme of the Premier League spending, yes, not many clubs have gone crazy yet. I mean, Saudi seems just to be sucking them all in, as said in his video the other day. But do you think we're limited here to how much we can spend with FFP and everything else being considered? Or do you still expect 3 or 4 more signings to come in off the back of these two?
I wouldn't say, I mean, I'd be a bit concerned if it was the end of the window, especially the fact that we've got no goalkeeper, unless that's part of this master plan of trying to play maybe 5 at the back, 5 in midfield, and then a
true sweeper keeper that doesn't keep.
Rush goalie, isn't it? Back in school,
maybe he's just
isn't
going to, he'll start Joe Worrell central centre back and then give him the gloves so that he can then drop back in goal in case he has to actually fulfill that role. But I think it's definitely just going to be more prudent. It's going to be, I mean, we saw last year, we were like the one extreme of trying to sign pretty much anyone who had any kind of capability. We were just trying to think of every single role that we were going to need to fill in the squad and just hope that maybe one per position would stick. And then we've kind of gone into this season, and I think it's just been a bit of a culture shock going from the excitement of last year, signing all of these players, all of these, especially going for like high-end players at the time, like the big name stars of like Jesse Lingard and that, and now we're coming into this season, we're almost into August and we've still not got anyone confirmed. It's just been, it's gone from one end of the spectrum to the other, and we kind of see teams that have now come up and they're doing all their transfer business, and we're seeing all of the targets that we've been looking at or been wanted to try and chase up, going to different leagues like the Saudi league. So it's just been a difficult one. I just think FFP is going to play a role, but I don't feel it's as prominent, definitely this season anyway, or last season. If we keep on going the way that we did last season for another 2 or 3 seasons down the line, then yes, we would be between a rock and a hard place. But I think this season it's not really going to play a role. We're probably just trying to balance out a bit from what we had to do last year to get us at least a starting squad and try and think of some ways of trying to create a starting 11 to play in the Premier League.
To be fair, I don't think we're the only club. You know, I'm obviously working with a high press channel now. I get to see a lot more of the rest of the league. And what you see is a lot of rumours for a long period of time, like the Onana one, for example, to Man United. That was going on forever. Yeah. And there's a lot of teams struggling to find the right player for them. And again, I think it's down to inflated costs. I think the fact that Rice went for over 100 million has probably brought everybody's level up a little bit. And Brian have got a really good scouting model. Obviously, I did a video on that, and it's bringing the kids in from elsewhere, not from the not from UK. It's going and scouting these really way out places like Ecuador and bringing people in. So I think everybody's struggling there, Joe, in the Premier League. There's not been a lot happening, to be honest.
Yeah, just very quickly on the high press, guys. I'm just having a look at it now. We're this close to 1,000 subscribers on there, 964. I'm going to set you guys a quick challenge, right? The link is...
bowl with me. Hold on. There's my begging bowl. It's still got
Like Dino is putting so much hard work into it. And as we keep saying on here, it's important as a Premier League club, we understand fully what's going on in and around the other clubs around us. And his channel is going to grow and grow and grow. And there are some key videos as well that are linked to Forest. For example, Anal Boy's videos are on there with his clips and everything else. Make sure you check those out as well. I'm going to set you guys
on there.
But I want to set you guys a challenge. Can we hit 1,000 subscribers on that channel before the end of the streams? Only 36 more we require. 34 more now because 2 of you legends have gone and pressed it. So if you would be kind, if you're not subscribed already, please go and hit that subscribe button. The link's in there in the chat for you guys. Now, just going on to your poll, do you want Elanga? 71% of you say yes, 9% say no, and 20% of you are doing a Forest and you're sitting your asses on the fence. You fence sitters, you absolute fence sitters. And don't forget, Forest Ant will be joining us at the FFTV podcast and barbecue. That's on the 6th of August. Doors open at 3 p.m. If you want a ticket and you haven't got one, what are you waiting for? Hurry up. They're going. There's only a few left.
Oh my God, 974. Thanks, guys.
Oh, he's getting excited. He's getting excited.
Oh, it's a grind, you know, it's a grind.
I know it's the grind. I know it's the grind.
Yeah,
Yeah, 3 p.m., £5 for admission. We're going to do a live podcast. You lot in the chat will basically be doing what you're doing here, but in real life. And then we'll be amongst you and just having so much fun. Can't wait for it. So, and look at Stuart, the absolute legend. He's already subscribed. Okay, so we covered the 2 signings that are coming in. Before we talk about Hendo, I don't really want to talk about Hendo. I want to talk about the shape of this team. Like, I was down at the start of last week. I was like, we ain't getting no one in. I don't know why, but I feel a little more motivated today because maybe I feel like the checkbook still has ink left in it, you know? What I'm thinking is this, guys, and this is why I'm excited, right? Let's pretend we live in a world where it might be a 4-2-3-1. How would you guys feel about this team, right? And chat, I want to know what you think, right? Taiwo up front. MG Dub in the hole. Elanga on the left.
Oh.
Can I finish my dream before you start about my holes, man? Seriously. Elanga on the left, Jono on the right if he stays, or Scarpa on the right, whoever we have. And then just behind him, Danilo and Sangare, Felipe Niakate, not Lodi. Omar Richards on the left, Aurier on the right, and probably Hendo in goal. Does that team sound decent or not to you guys? Anyone not liking that? And would you make any changes as start using that?
You missed. Oh no, you went 4 at the back, didn't you? I wondered if you'd missed Worrell out.
No,
yeah, Worrell's
4 at the back. But more importantly, those 2 CDMs or a CDM and a CM. Yeah. Them 2 really excite me because I think they'd be the engine hub of that team, and you've got to have that middle sorted out. We lost too many battles, home and away, in that midfield last season, and just that Sangare. The more you talk about him, the more videos I've seen on him, the more I'm excited, and I hope Forest will. It may be the one that breaks the transfer a record this window. I think I did say I predicted it would happen this window. I think he'll be the player to do it. I hope he's a player to do it because I think he fits the profile of what I think I want to see Cooper playing. And I think what Cooper in his head, he talks a good fight all the time. He said, I have a certain way I want to play. This is not how I want to play. We think we've got an idea of what shape he'd like to play, but to have that really working, you've got to have that middle sorted out. And he's from that team that you just named there, he was the most exciting player alongside Danilo in that midfield. That made me think that shape can work and that formation can work with those 2 players in the hub.
I want to know if Simon Jones would be convinced of the 2 in the middle, if that 2 in the middle was Danilo and Sangare. So if you're still in the chat, I want to know. But Jojo, would you change anything in that team or even the shape of that team? Would you maybe look at it as a 4-3-3 potentially? Is there any tweaks you'd make? A lot in the chat, and chat, get your thoughts in. A lot are saying Richards is unproven at Prem level. I'm not so convinced, but sorry, Joe, go on.
I mean, I feel going back to Ez's point there, we did get unstuck quite a lot last season by playing 2 in the midfield. So obviously bringing Sangare in to play one of those 2 would be a massive boost to kind of being able to play that role. But I feel like if we were then pairing him up with Danilo, which I feel would like be the only real logical position for him to play there, is that it does leave us kind of a bit open, especially if we kind of look towards the back end of the season where Danilo was almost one of our most influential players when we were trying to go forward.
Yeah.
I mean, if he's pushing forwards, trying to make overlapping runs past Morgan Gibbs-White and Taiwo Awoniyi up front, and then all of a sudden we get dispossessed or he has a shot and the keeper pulls it in and then throws it straight out, we've got 1 in the midfield then. And it doesn't matter if you've got Sangare or, I mean, like the best central defensive midfielder at the moment going out in any kind of the league, having 1 in that position is just not going to be able to cover. So it does, having a box-to-box and a solid defensive midfielder is absolutely brilliant, and the top teams of the league are able to pull that off. I just feel like if we were trying to do it in our second season in the Premier League, it would be really attacking and exciting football to watch. I mean, I feel like a lot of the Forest neutrals who weren't really invested in the club on how they were doing last year would say that we were probably one of the most boring to watch last year, and they would then instantly flip that.
Forest fans would say that as well, Joe.
They'd probably flip that switch if we went to playing a 4-2-3-1 with Sangare and Danilo in the midfield, but would our results suffer at the behest of playing exciting football? Quite possibly.
It's a balance, isn't it? It's a balance. It's a tough one. Dino, I mean, it's hard to argue with this. That's why I don't like him on the stream. He's too logical for me sometimes. He's like my kryptonite. If I can go back to DC, mate. Yeah. But Dino, a lot in the chat are saying Mangala. You can't not play Mangala. The Apex is saying, I think Mangala is going to be good. There's been loads of comments. Damn, saying Mangala, Sangera, Elanga, Awoniyi. That's the kind of 4. There's loads. Nick will come on to Sangera update. It won't take us long. There's loads of comments here. Martin as well saying, I think Mangala will be great this season. Do you agree with the team I've said, or do you think a 4-3-3 could be better suited? Because Mangala's been one of the better looking players towards the back end of the season, and I have to say over the 2 preseason games as well.
Yeah. I would say a 4-3-3 if MGW is not available or playing on the left. You've got Danilo can actually do that box to box, because Danilo, to be fair, he is a box to box, which we said from the very beginning.
Say that again. Who said it first?
But he does like the attacking box more than the defending box, in my opinion. He does like to get forward at a rate, like Joe said. So with a 3 in midfield with Sangare, Mangala, and then through the middle, Danilo piling forward to cover where MGW would be in the 10 position would be ideal. I would say I agree that the 2 in midfield, it does sound exciting, but I don't know whether Danilo's the right person to Sangare. I would have a Mangala if you want a solid midfielder, if you're just going for 2, to be honest.
Well, have you seen
so I think
Sangare,
there's 2
man?
slightly
He's
different
like
tactics.
Yeah, he's
like
big enough
this,
for 2,
man.
mate.
Who's like this?
Sangare.
Freaking Ibrahim Sangare, man. He's up.
Yeah, I'm not about Sangare. I'm talking about Sangare and Mangala in midfield.
That's
If we play with Jono at the 10. Because the thing is, with Jono at the 10, Danilo's going to overlap him all the time, isn't he? Which isn't a bad thing, but when you play
Jono in the 10.
Yeah, if Jono's in the 10, and you've got 2 in midfield with Sangare and Danilo's going to be piling forward.
Wait, hold on. Wait, what formation are you doing?
Huh?
Yeah.
What formation are you doing here? Sorry.
4-2-3-1. I was doing both 4-3-3, which I think Mangala, Sangare, and Danilo covering the 10 position. That's not there. Yeah, 2 wide men in the striker.
Okay, that's good sense. So Danilo goes into the 10.
4-2-3-1 with 2 in midfield. I think you need a Mangala and Sangare.
But who you dropping to do that, Dino? Who you dropping to do that?
You don't get that, Si.
I didn't get it either, Si. I'm not going to lie. Wait, who you dropping to do that, though? So if you're going 4-3-3, you're basically dropping technically the cam position. Yeah. So would you be shoving
he's been playing on the left, hasn't he, MGW?
So you're dropping Elanga?
Elanga's not here yet, but you can rotate between the two. MGW can't see out a whole season. He's got international games as well. MGW been my first choice, player of the year last year.
But is he not better in the middle?
Yes, he is, but he's only better in the middle when you're playing that number 10 role, which we don't always play.
Because we didn't see him playing in the middle. Yeah, towards the end of the season, he wasn't playing. Towards the end of the season, he wasn't playing in the middle. He was starting out on the left and drifting in. But that formation we've mentioned, that's a dream formation for me. I wouldn't see that being played week in, week out. I think you'd probably maybe you'd have to pick and choose the games that you'd play that in. But there are teams where I think we're going to have to try and force some sort of superiority over them. So for those kind of games, but I can't see that formation in every single game. No, I totally agree with the guys in terms of you can't afford to be overrun in that midfield. And with three players there, we looked a lot more solid. And then obviously when we had 3 centre backs as well as the 3 midfielders ahead of them, we were doubly solid, but it takes away from your attacking prowess. So yeah, that 4-2-3-1, amazing as it sounded. The only thing I'd probably change on it is probably I wouldn't go with Richards at left back. I'd probably rather have Nico Williams playing across there. But other than that, yeah, but that's a dream formation, and I can't see that being deployed for the majority of the games. But when you're playing the likes of Sheffield United at home, and go on.
What would you do with Yates? We got to ask the question. We know it's popular, and Harvey's saying,
fit
4-3-3.
Yates has got his role to play, but Yates, for me, if you're bringing in better players, and this is what it's about, he has a heart that you probably can't buy on the open market. But if it was he's not a CDM. For me, Yates is not a CDM, and that's a position we need to fill. So if we bring a proper CDM in, then Yates's role is probably the one that's most under threat for me out of those middle 3, because I can't see him dropping Danilo. And as the guys have quite rightly mentioned, Mangala's been fantastic towards the end of the season and in the early preseason games as well. So out of those, if say you had Sangara in tomorrow, out of those 4 midfielders, and you've only got 3 positions, for me, Yates is unfortunately the one that would miss out from a starting place. Go on, Dino.
Let's be honest. Sorry, Joe, go on.
I'm going to
Sorry, but just a minute. Let's be honest. We've been after a CDM for this is the 3rd transfer window now.
Yeah.
We've tried Freud there. You know what I mean? Everybody's had a go there.
Yeah. At the moment, though, Joe, who would be our CDM in your opinion? I mean, Ted's saying Mangala as the CDM. Sai's saying Yates doesn't compete with Sangare. Who would you say is our current best CDM?
It has to be Remo Freuler, because that's the only reason that Steve Cooper's surely still playing him there.
Yeah, but what do you think?
In all honesty, I don't think we've got one. I don't think we've got a CDM. We've got a lot of all-around central midfielders who kind of play in that role. They all are quite adept of going forwards and doing their bit in defence, but none of them sit back. You can't think of any of our central midfielders who are known to just never really cross the halfway line or sit within that central circle. They all quite like to have an attacking run or try and get forward and have a shot from outside the box. We don't have a central defensive midfielder out and out.
I mean, Nick's right. Quixote is. You could have said Colback was as well. Yeah. I agree with Sai. If I had to pick one to be a CDM, it's probably Mangala, because out of the CMs, he's probably got the worst finish. Now, his finish against Leeds, I know, before the chat starts going crazy, was really nice, slotted in nicely. But overall, like where I've seen him in these pre-seasons is he's playing at the base of it, and then he's playing quite high. So when we've attacked, he's sitting like halfway up the pitch, and they're using him as a pivot point to reshape the ball maybe from left to right, or you saw Taiwo dropping in to pick the ball up against Notts County, for example, a few times. And he does seem to be able to play. It's the kind of role that I would have expected Freuler to have done if he was used in his right position. But I do agree with what you boys are saying. We don't have that natural CDM. And Sangare is a natural CDM, but he does like to win the ball high up the pitch. And if we were to get him, do you think that's a bit risky? Would that leave us exposed behind because he is a high pressing CDM.
He is a high pressing CDM, but that is a positive thing. I think he'll be disciplined if he's asked to play a role where he's more sitting. But we want a more progressive CDM. We don't want a CDM that's just going to sit there. We want him to kind of dictate the play from that position and be a proper conductor, which is what Freuler was always meant to be. But we have got. You're right. Chiarte is probably the only one who's still at the club that is a proper CDM, but he wasn't played as a proper CDM. And the only problem I have with Mangala playing in that position, the benefit of him is he can pick up the ball, and he does look to pick up the ball from a goalkeeper and a back four. The problem I have with him is he's not strong enough in the defense. So you need a strong defender, and like you've just mentioned, a progressor, somebody who goes looking for the ball, not waiting for somebody to stop him and put a tackle in. And that's what Sangare does, and that's always the best form of attack, isn't it? You got to be on the front foot even as a CDM. And if you can get a player like that, I just genuinely think the more I've seen of him, the more I think, and I love the thought of Tyler Adams as well, but I just think that's a few steps ahead of Tyler Adams, and his physique, I think he's just perfect for that role, honestly. And I think if we can
would work.
He reminds me of Carlton Palmer sort of stature.
Nah, man.
With skill,
with
stature, like he's very gangly, isn't he? And
he's long He's built. He's definitely built.
I don't want to hype him up to this level. So I'm not saying he's like this player. I'm saying he reminds me of this player, Patrick Vieira.
Go on.
Patrick Vieira. He has got those Vieira style traits.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, when we were doing the video yesterday on him, I was like, fuck me, man. He's got a bullet as well. That one power bomb that he put in, man. What does Lemmy call him again? Thunder?
Thunder bastard, mate.
That's the one. Yeah, bang. In she goes. But it's not just a rumor sci-fi. There is definite talks. Like, quick update on this. Yeah, his reps did meet in Greece with the Forest reps. That's like write it in stone. We don't know what's happened after that. That's the thing with this. We don't know if it was positive. We don't know if it's negative, right? But we do know they met, and that's where the kind of story has finished on a cliffhanger at the moment. But we do know from the players that Forest have looked at that they are looking for a CDM. And Ian's saying, guys, you're forgetting a very simple fact. He plays in the Dutch league. It doesn't mean he can cut it in the Prem. There's been plenty that have come from the Dutch league, in my opinion, who have done okay in the Premier League. And when you got someone who's the players that struggle in the Premier League are those who lack physicality. Trust me, yeah. I've seen some tasty shots of Ibrahim, and they're tasty. Yeah, Felipe-esque tastiness, right? Trust me, he's got the physique for the Premier League. So 1865. See, I've always respected the way 1865 thinks, man. He knows Vieira is the right link to him. But okay, let's move this on to the annoying subject of goalkeepers. And just before we do, chat, 57% of you said you would go for a 4-3-2-1, 33% said a 4-3-3, and only 9% want Fife at the back. Very interesting. I thought that would be a little higher, especially the way Forest finished last season. And just a quick reminder on the high press, we are now, drum roll please, we are now, the screen would refresh, 982, it needs 18 more subscribers. So if you haven't hit that subscribe button,
thank you.
Please take a quick second.
Use your burner account if you have to. Go on, guys.
Yeah, go like
remember to log in as well, otherwise you can't subscribe. Yeah, there's 3 current videos on there, so the people that we spoke about. So
don't watch them now, watch them after the stream, right? But please go and get that to the 1K mark. Dino will, well, I'm not going to say what he will do, but I'm sure there'll be some Felipe posters and pictures looked at afterwards. Anyway,
Lemmy shaking his head.
We'll start you, Jojo.
Yeah.
What are you thinking about the goalkeeper situation? Is this becoming a mess with Henderson? And do you think Forest should walk away, or are you happy to wait for Dino?
I feel like it is definitely a mess. I feel saying that it's anything otherwise would be lying.
Sorry, it's definitely what, because Ez rudely coughed while you said it and I didn't hear.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a mess. I feel like the goalkeeper situation at Man United's been an absolute catastrophe, and therefore by proxy it's almost thrown us under the bus. We've been relying on trying to get this Henderson deal over the line pretty much since we were basically confirmed to be staying in the Premier League next season. But then they've just been messing around with their options of offering De Gea a new contract, and then he signs it, and then they tear it up and try and get him to try and sign on for less wages, and then trying to get Onana over the line. And then it's just been an absolute catastrophe from them, and we've been the ones that have also ended up having to suffer for it. So we've been pretty much committed to him, and I feel like that was fair. I mean, we always say that don't fall in love with your loan players, and we've fallen again into that trap with Lodi, who's now moved on to Marseille. But the way that he was, the way that Dino was still a part of Forest club and culture throughout the end of last season, when he didn't have to be, he knew that his season was done. But the fact that he was still coming to games and he was on our side, he was so bought into what we were trying to do, and especially the way that he tried to burn his bridges right at the beginning of last season. I feel like it was something that if we were going to stay up, it was going to be one of our top priorities, but it's just been out of our hands. We've not really been able to force it, because if everything went tits up for Man United, they then sold their backup goalkeeper. They've got De Gea, who doesn't want to play for him anymore because they've tried to reduce his wages, and they didn't get the Onana deal over the line. They've then got Tom Heaton starting in goal for him next year. So it's just been something that we've not been able to influence until they've finally got it sorted. But it's taken so long. It feels like Jimmy Garner last season all over again, where they weren't allowing any kind of sale of him. So we then had to move on, and then all of a sudden said, "Oh no, we're quite happy to let him go now." So it feels like it's the same story again with them.
Would you walk away?
Not now that Onana's done. No, I feel like we've got time to salvage it, and especially with a goalkeeper role where you only really need two players in that position. And yes, I do agree that we still need two goalkeepers in that position. I think we're okay, but when we were trying to go with Garner, and you're looking at a central midfielder, especially when we didn't really have anyone apart from Yates from last year's lineup who was going to be able to fill that role, we had to bring so many players in. We just had to move on as soon as they were kind of, we gave them one offer. They said, no, we're not going to sell it. We had to move on immediately. So we've been able to kind of hold on with this one. So I'd say commit to it, try and get another deal over the line. But if it gets to the end of this month and we've only got a couple of friendlies left, then yeah, we've then got to move on.
Yeah, I mean, Dina, do you want to bring out some of the chat comments? They're making some interesting point on the Hendo stuff. And looking on the poll, it's quite split, because 34% of you are saying yes, you would walk away, but you are joint exactly the same percentage with happy to wait. And then no, let's wait it out is 31%. This is a very, very split part. So yeah, Dina, do you mind just running through some of the comments, seeing what the guys are saying?
Yeah, I think generally I mean, there's things like Cole Darlow's name keeps popping up every now and then, doesn't it? But might not be a bad option if we get nobody. The thing is with I don't know whether Man United have got a vendetta against Forest for some reason, but you know they've let De Gea go in the most awful way possible. They've also asked him to stay on, didn't they, and not sign for another club, even though they didn't want him, and released him just in case they need him. Then they sign Onana. They're obviously after another keeper. It seems that then they're asking a stupid price for what essentially is their third unwanted keeper in Hendo. So I don't know if it's a Forest agenda, really. From what I understand, and I might be wrong on this, but I understand that Man United are flying out to the States on this Sunday, and Hendo, I know, has been asked to join.
They're already out there, Dino. They're already out there.
They're already out there. It must have been last Sunday then. So I saw somebody put in the chat that
it was yesterday. They came out.
Right, they were planning Sunday, but I thought that was a threat to say, if you don't get it sorted out by them, Forest is coming with us on the pre-season. But that doesn't matter. Essentially, they can come back. And I did see somebody put in the chat earlier that him and Elanga are coming back. I'd like to think we can sign him. I don't know. Again, these mutterings of another loan deal. I don't think Man United will do that. They need the money. They're still working on this takeover, which is an absolute mess. They've obviously just signed Mason Mount and Onana, which must have pretty much wiped out the Glazers' money, because they want to keep the money in for the sale of the club. They're still nowhere near selling the club. They've been on and off for the last 6 months. And if they don't have a change of ownership, then they need to sell players. And Endo's must be an easy one to sell to Forest. They'll be getting with the likes of Fred and people like that as well. McTominay.
There's loads of interesting comments coming in. I mean, Dan saying I voted not to let him go of Henderson. Mark saying I think I'd rather have offered 10 million for the other keeper, Mati Kovar. There's loads of comments here. Where are we? Can't fucking find them now.
There's another one here, look.
Thank you. Yeah, that one's the sentimental stuff, isn't it? I mean, I love Samba, but he ain't coming back. It's a bit like Ludwig. I need to let him go. Phil's saying sentiment for Hendo will cost us. I tend to agree. And this is the question I want to pose to you as. Why is no one else in for Hendo if he's as amazing as us as the Forest fan base think? Because there are no other suitors for him. Is he that good? Let's be non-sentimental here.
I think he fits. I think he fits for club. But maybe he's been put off. Other clubs have been put off because we've had such a strong link with him and his actions as well. And whether it's on social media and whatever, he's clearly shown that he wants to come to Nottingham Forest. On top of that, so maybe that's what's put off others putting in a bid. But if we do show any sort of, if we do flinch on this one, I genuinely think we can wait. We can kind of wait this one out a little bit because one, he's not even fully fit. So he's not going to be missing out on any training as such. Yeah, he's one that in terms of he doesn't need to settle into the club. He's pretty much stayed there the whole season. I don't see how Man United can force him to get on the plane if he's not already on there, and he should just do his Mr. T impression and say, "I ain't getting no damn plane, fool," and just refuse to do it.
That was so bad. That was so bad, man. Oh my god, that was
Mr. T Welsh. To be honest, there's no other clubs that are rumoured to be wanting Hendo at the minute.
That's what I'm saying.
Have we put them off?
Nobody.
But have we put them off by being? No, exactly. But is that because they all think he's coming to us anyway, and they haven't bothered? Maybe. And if we do flinch, then the clubs will come in for him. But my point is, we need 2 goalkeepers. So I would say move on for now and focus on getting that second goalkeeper spot sorted. I know we've been linked with Jose Sarr as well, but he doesn't seem like a second goalkeeper to me, or somebody who'd be willing to settle for that role. We do have to look at other options regardless of Hendo, but I just hope we don't flinch too much where others who I think have been put off by our interest in him and what he said about wanting to come to Forest, and then they find a kind of a way in because he is a good goalkeeper and we desperately want him back. I think he just suits the way we play and the fans love him as well. There's no downside in getting him in because he's other than if we're overcharged and we held to ransom. But you'd hope this Elanga deal does go through and it gives a little bit of money in the bank. You can kind of understand with financial fair play why, from financial fair play, why Forest want to do the deal where they don't pay anything this season. But all they need to do is do what we did with the bloody Chris Wood deal and say, as soon as he plays three games, that triggers the deal and we have to buy him, or it makes it not an option to buy. It makes you have to buy the player. All we have to do is that, and unless they're not getting money for Onana straight, they're not paying for Onana straight up, then they can move that around. But what we don't know is the knock-on effect with all these FFP deals and the domino effect in terms of players signing.
As horrible as it sounds, I think Forest need to make an offer and just say take it or leave it, and then just move on before it's too late, because we need a keeper. The most important position on the pitch to blend in with the team is the keeper in the defensive unit.
Okay, can I ask a question then? Okay, say we move on. Would you guys go for the link with Navas? Would you bring Navas straight in if we can get him?
I'm going to Lemmy here because that's his boy. So where are you on Navas, Lemmy? Is he still your boy?
No, I feel like it was. I said he was my boy, and it was at that point I promptly was on a plane over to the US, and then I was struggling to be able to. The time zone difference was so difficult. I really couldn't then watch games anymore, and then I've
That's
kind
the
of
best
also
excuse
caught
I've
up.
ever heard for a flip
No,
flop.
he started off well, and then I feel like there was just so many. I mean, we all kind of saw it, didn't we? Really, the amount of saves that he would make, but they were just kind of like half-hearted saves where they were just parrying it out. And with especially when you're letting in the amount of shots that we were just letting in, you're always gonna concede at that point. Then, so I feel.
Do you not remember this guy, the lanky Lampo? What was his name? He was like he had to duck to get under the bar.
No,
no,
Romanian.
Yeah, Pantilimon, that's it, yeah.
Pantilimon,
yeah. Thanks for that memory, man. Sorry, Joe. Go on.
Don't forget, just to cheer you up, Onana is going to be a real, in my opinion, from what I've seen, is going to be a disaster zone.
There's a lot saying, and I do agree. There's a lot saying Navas. Should we do a quick poll? Oh, you guys love a poll, don't you? Look, I'm saying straight up, I'd rather bring Darlow back than have Navas in. I'm not saying Navas was bad, man. It's just those very liquid parrying gloves.
And his wages are expensive as well, aren't they?
Yeah, he's on like 270 or something, isn't he? 270, 300.
Well, he's not worth that, I'm afraid.
I feel if we were going to go for a goalkeeper, if we couldn't have Hendo, I'd rather have gone down the line of trying to bring in someone like Livakovic from another league, try and see if they were on a lower wages and take more of a gamble that way. I mean, we've seen Navas play, and I feel like he's just not going to be able to do it for his.
The only thing I'd say on that point, Joe, is look, let's say Hendo cost 20 million. Navas will probably cost you a couple of mil, 2 or 3, because I think he's only got a year left to PSG. He's old, and is it worth it when you balance it out? High wages with low transfer fee, as opposed to high transfer fee at 20 mil ish plus 100k a week. I mean, you're looking at 5.2 mil just neat on wages each year for Hendo. So it's I get what some of the guys are saying, but it's I still think Livakovic is snipeable, is hijackable. It is like nearly deal done, but it's hijackable. I just think I want Henderson, but the thing I don't understand is why did we get Elanga done quite quickly? I use the term loosely, but relative towards how long this Hendo deal is. And how was this Henderson one not just dealt with at the end of the season? And I'll say this, I think it's to do with the injury. I think that injury is longer than most people think because he's still injured.
Well, it's that and the position that he's playing in, really. I mean, Elanga, he's a left winger. I mean, yeah, we've said that he's played left wing, right wing, but I mean, if you look at Man United's options for playing on the wings, they've got a lot more of those than they do for playing in a position where it's one player can play in that slot as a goalkeeper. And they've had so many issues with trying to get rid of De Gea and then bring in Onana. That's the reason that it's taken this long. We could not get it done at the end of last season because I'm sure they already thought what they wanted to get done over this summer transfer window, get someone in and get De Gea out the door.
Would you take De Gea, Joe?
No. I'd
take him over Navas.
If I had De Gea I'd take Henderson. I'd take Henderson then De Gea.
No, over Navas. Would you take him over Navas?
Oh, over Navas.
Yeah. What do the chat think?
Yeah,
Navas or De Gea, chat. What would you go with? And I just want someone want to answer this question. Steve raises an interesting point. Do you think this wages has got anything to do with it? Because he's on about 100k. Do you think Forest are knowing it's deal done and they're just making Man U pay maybe even an extra 400k if we don't get him for a month? And as you mentioned earlier, he knows the team, he knows the system, he knows everything. Is it worth saving 400k and bringing him in lastminute.com before the season starts?
I think so. I don't think he's going to be, like I said, he's not one who needs to settle in. And the goalkeeper position, doesn't rely too much on tactics and formation either. So, yeah, I think we can ride it out. I think that's a really great point, though, and I'd rather my new football bill. Our chat. I'd rather my new football bill than we did, so it might be quite smart in that sense, and that's a great point to bring up, to be honest. But yeah, I think we can just ride this one out, but we do still need a backup goalkeeper, whoever that is, and there's options out there.
I think Shelby's been all right, Eds. I've been impressed with him. I'm not saying he's Prem ready.
I mean, he's not headbutted anyone, so he's done well. From that point
Have you seen him save anything though?
He came from the ball a couple of times. He took some crosses, but no, not really.
But
honestly,
he can't say
he's done well if you've not seen him save.
But guys, on a broader picture of a transfer window, it's been a slow transfer window all round.
Yeah.
Apart from the deals that we knew that were definitely being done, I think it's still to really kick off, and we're not alone. And I think from all our points of view, it's kind of different because every day we're messaging each other in our WhatsApp groups and stuff like who's signed. We're putting content, so we're trying to find content to put out for you guys. But ordinarily, it's not really been that slow of a window for Nottingham Forest, but in general, so I don't think we're any further behind anybody else. And even look at the teams that have gone down. You'd think that some of these teams like Leeds especially will be looking to move some of their players on, and they haven't really moved anyone on, and they can't. If we're looking at, say, for example, Dennis going to Leeds, I don't think that's going to happen until they sell someone anyway. They've got their own dominoes they need to sort out. It's been a slow transfer window, full stop.
It's been really slow across the board.
All right, enough Hendo talk. My Hendo meter is at max capacity. I got a couple of questions that I want to bring on from the chat, but we're 8 likes away from 100. So if you haven't hit the like button, and we're like nearly 300 odd of you in here, please take a second to hit that like button. And your time is running out to get the high press to 1,000 subscribers. It's on 983, so only 17 of you can make an old man happy. And no, I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about Dino. All right. So if you haven't already subscribed to the high press, please give it a quick subscribe. It's free to do. Okay. I like this question. I like controversial questions, and I think Joseph has put an interesting one here. Joseph says, would you sell Jono for Hendo, Elanga, and Sangere? And who am I going to pick on? Dino, I'm picking on you with this one.
Oh, I hate you so much.
Guys, if you don't like his answer, unsubscribe from the high press. Pressure on this question now.
That's a really difficult one. It's a really difficult one.
Down to 800 subscribers.
No, stop. Stop unsubscribing. Oh God, why do you do this to me? I
told you we don't sit on the fence on this channel, maybe.
I would if you drops.
Not getting away with it.
Yeah, I would. I would. I just think it'd make the squad better. Not that I don't like Jono, but it'd make the squad better.
There's a lot of yeses in the chat. Oh, I feel a poll coming on.
I mean,
Chris is
Sam Jones, he's on it all the time.
Well, everyone knows I hates Jono.
No. Just he's right though when he says, he's like almost like a not a one-trick pony, but he's limited in his game and he might have reached the ceiling. And he would sell Jono because he's only scored against like Everton. He scored a few, didn't he? And was that just a swap deal? Yeah, I would. I think I would for the sake of the squad.
Is Joseph still in the chat? Joseph, you're a nasty one, aren't you, Joseph?
There's no no's in the chat. God, there's quite a lot of yeses.
There's a lot. Well, there's been so many yeses. I'm putting this in a poll. Would you?
Is that a poll?
So,
I love that one earlier. Whoever said it about the poll could we have a poll about having more polls? That was brilliant.
And I don't know if I can fit it in. I can. Sangere. Okay, yes, I'm not giving you a fence-sitting option here, chat. Right? I'm not giving you a fence-sitting option. Would you do it? And by the way, these other two aren't getting away with it.
Yes, definitely yes.
Yes. So Dino hates Jono. Do you hate Jono or not?
Jono, come on.
He's still here. Joseph's still here. Good question, Joseph. Love it. Ez has gone running. Yeah, maybe to another YouTube
Joseph,
channel
what have you done?
where I feel more comfortable. Yeah, let me.
Yeah.
Is that a yes? You would.
I mean, it is a horrible question to
It
kind
is
of
really
pose,
awful.
but putting my logical hat on is I always end up having to do. We looked to the back end of the season where we probably had our best run of form. Jono wasn't starting in our starting 11. So are we then, if you then looking at just from that perspective, you're taking a sub player out and you're bringing in a starting goalkeeper, a starting central defensive midfielder, and a winger who can play on either side. If you just looked at it without any bias or any kind of sentimentality, you're taking a sub out and you're bringing in 2 definite starting players in any starting 11 and a
Three.
flexible winger.
Okay. I see where you're going.
I feel that it has to be a yes.
Ez, is your camera working again now?
Yeah, I'm here. I'll switch it off if it doesn't work. But well, same question to me. Yeah.
This is going to be the worst one because
No.
Jono.
I do absolutely love Jono. So yeah, that's why I waited. But I wasn't running him. It went spazzed out. But again, Joseph, thanks for the question. But if it was guaranteed to get those 3 players,
sorry, Sci-Fi's raising the bar here. Woo.
Oh, right, I'm not going
We're
on that one.
stream.
Go back to the original question from Joseph. If you can guarantee those 3 players, as much as I hate to say it, yes, I would. I'd do the deal.
Wait, did you just say you hate Jono?
Yeah. If you want to translate as I hate Jono,
then
I hate Jono now. I flipped.
So come on then, Mr. Host. What about you?
I'm just the host, mate.
No.
I'm like the other YouTubers. I don't have opinions. All right, what would I do?
Right, okay, there we go.
No, I'm not even going to host it. All right, let's just break it down. This is simple, right? You're saying Sangare is worth 30 to 34 mil, yeah? Hendo is worth 20 mil, yeah? And Elanga we know is 15.
Whoa. See, now you fucking pissed me off. How much is Jono worth?
Hold on. Would you shut up and let me talk for once, right? So let's call it 30, 20, and 15. That brings us to, if my maths is right, 65. Joe, help me. 65, yeah?
I ain't helping you with that, mate. I'm leaving you.
All right, 65, right? So therefore, 30, 20, 50 plus 50, 65. Right, I'm right. Okay. Therefore, would I say Jono is worth 65 mil? I'd probably say, taking my Jono hat off, right? I would say Jono is 45 to 50-ish would be a good price for him. So with that in mind and using that logic, we are getting 15 to 20 over Jono market price sale. Therefore, it would make sense for me to do it. How's that for a logical answer? Beat that. Mic drop. Thank you very much.
That's quite mature for you, Wolverine, to be honest.
It is, yeah. I've forgotten advocates here. I've just been moving the numbers. So that's why I would say I'm not sitting on the fence, Phil. Phil, when have you ever seen me sit on the fence? But that's why I would do it. No other reason than maths. Yeah, 65 mil. Technically, good business. And also exactly what Chris says, literally took the words out of my mouth, is pure profit. When you've got an academy player going through, you can put the whole sales value as profit on FFP. Yeah. It's huge. That's why Jono would be, to go back to Sci-Fi's point, Jono would be the one that would have to be sacrificed if you had to sacrifice an MG Dub or a Jono for FFP, because MG Dub would only be the profit gap on him. So that's what I'm saying. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, the only people that are interested in Jono anyway are Villa and Brentford, and Villa aren't they just signed?
There's more than that. There's more than that.
Right.
There's more than that. I'm not at liberty to say because I'm not at liberty to know. But apparently there is more. Now, what's interesting to see is what the chat is saying. 59% of the chat are turncoats and they hate Jono. They voted to sell him for those 2 Manchester United players, may I add, and a Dutch unproven player. You guys
Jono,
should
if you're
be
watching, we're
ashamed of
sorry.
yourselves. Jam Adventures, thank you so much for becoming a member, you absolute legend. 42 of you are still loyal to our youth. And I thank you and I salute you for that. Wait, hold on. I said yes to something, didn't I? But yeah. All right. We've gone on for ages. We need to cut this short because tomorrow, for those of you who don't know, Forest kickoff has moved an hour early to 10 a.m. How we're going to get up for it, God only knows, right? But we'll be doing the watch along from 9:45 or 9:59 maybe. It depends what time I can get out of bed. So we'll have that for you here. It's been a cracking stream. Thank you to everyone who has new subscribers, new members, just even if you've just sat there with your popcorn out, taking the mic. But we do need an update on High Press. Dino.
No, not just that. I just want to talk about the new Forest kit, just to give people some advice if they've not already bought it.
Here we go.
Hold on, what we got? We've got 985. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Right, this kit is massive compared to the other kit last year. So the Adidas are bigger sizes. So I don't laugh, but I was in an XXL in the Macron kit. This is an XL, and it's still a little bit big. So literally at least one size down, on sometimes 2. Just bear that in mind. So don't whip your tags off. Try it on first at the shop. Done.
Wait, was that it? I thought that was like a Herculean speech coming.
Are you going to give us a full tour?
Obviously, I've pumped it already.
Can you show everyone the back, Dino, just so everyone can see it without numbers?
Oh, it's dreadful from the back.
Appreciate your hard work in excess. I don't like that.
Yeah,
you need a number. You need a number on the back.
Yeah, guys, would you get that with or without a number if you were going to get it? It needs a number. Don't do what Crypto did though when they put it left justified on his one.
They're all big sizes, guys, so just make sure you go down at least one size.
Harvey did the same. And a lot of you have messaged us on WhatsApp, and a lot of you are saying they're kind of true to their size. But yeah, keep the tags on, or strip off in the club shop. I'm sure they'd love that while you try it on. Is there any changing rooms in the new one?
I haven't been in.
Silence. Okay. Dino is not fat, says Chucker Block. Chucker, you need to wake up. I know you're in Aussie time, yeah. But yeah, we got a poll going on the community tab, by the way. If you haven't voted on that, which is the best kit out of the home, away, and third? So people are asking about the third kit. The third kit's still not out. I think it's coming out soon. We'll let you know if we see anything or hear anything or whatever, or we'll become retweeters ourselves on Twitter and we'll retweet it out in the no style. But yeah, so we'll let you know on that. But if you haven't voted, let us know which your favorite kit is. I was gonna get the Argentina kit, but I ordered the home kit. I went boring. I couldn't do it. But yeah, 75 quid if you want to get it. A lot of people are saying the third kit, Pac-Man kit.
A lot of people like the third kit.
Oh, Chaka, I put on 1.5 stone in a year, mate, so I can't say nothing. Cool. All right, that will do for tonight, guys. If you haven't already, make sure you come into the FFTV live podcast and barbecue. £5 entry fee. There will be food and drink that you can buy there.
Just interrupt. Dino and I went down to have a little scope of a venue earlier on today, and we had an update on the tickets, and they're going like hotcakes, guys. So there are only a few left, so please get your tickets in quick to make sure you secure your spots for the magical event on the 6th of August, which is a Sunday. So yeah, guys, get your tickets fast because there's not many left, and we want to make sure that you all get there and enjoy the event.
And subscribe to. I can never get that right. Subscribe to the Premier League channel as well, FFTV Premier League. Do you want to punt that?
Yeah, it's down there.
There you go. No. We're about to do some more content next week on there.
We're doing the show soon, me and Dino. So when you do subscribe, make sure you click the notifications button as well, so you'll know when those shows come out. Yeah,
cool. Right, we will see you at 9:45 tomorrow for the watch along. Subscribe to FFTV, High Press, and the Premier League, and go show Joe some love on Twitter or something. And we will see you all tomorrow for the huge, exciting match. Forest will take on Levante in France, in Spain. And come on, you Reds.
You Reds.